Good evening, hello everyone, and welcome to our special broadcast of CMSportsNet's Basketball Regional Playoffs Highlight Show. I'm Pat Stoetzer, that's Nathan Schwartz. The basketball playoffs tipped off tonight. We've got recaps coming up from all the games that took place in Carroll County. Nathan, hard to believe we've gotten this far to this point. February took forever, but yet here we are, and now things really get exciting.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the winter flew by, right? It feels like we were just doing the show for the football playoffs, but here we are with the boys and girls basketball playoffs, an exciting night for sure. Let's dive right in.
Yeah, we're going to get right into it and start with boys basketball. And first up, a look at Class 2A West Region 1. Quite the juicy opening round matchup. Century hosting Liberty as the Knights and Lions are going to square off for part 3 of this year's rivalry games. And this one took place at the Castle in Eldersburg. Packed house at Wonderland, whatever you want to call it, the Castle or Wonderland. And it was interesting that they got a chance to play for a third time because Liberty's been in 1A the last couple years. So when we saw this matchup, we were excited for it. And Century, you can see the gym there, pretty packed. Right away, Braden Davis takes it down the lane to get the Knights going early in the first quarter. Halfway through the quarter, you're going to get a three-pointer coming here from Carter Simmon. Spots up and shoots 9-2. Low scoring, but Century in the lead. When in doubt, Nate Brown is your man. Slash to the hoop and score. And all things are coming up Knights. 14-7 for the Knights there. 7-point lead, but late in the quarter, 14-9 game, another three. This time Evan Williams right in front of the other side.
And he's been so good, adding to the depth of this Century team.
No doubt about it. The Lions got back into a little bit. We saw this play coming up right here back when they played this game in Eldersburg. Gavin Spees coming off the curl, inbounds pass. He shoots and scores the three-pointer. So Liberty trying to stay in a little bit. But again, back and forth as the team settled in offense. More Carter Simmon. Anytime you can get Carter Simmon offensively involved, Century going to stand a good chance to do good things. So they got into that one, and it was a 30-27 halftime lead for Century. Watch this play develop. You're going to see Nate Brown get the ball. Noah Gattal guarding him, but Brown shakes the defender. Look at those moves in the paint. Probably got a foul call, but it didn't get it. But nice there, 32-29 in favor of Century early third quarter. You're going to see some more here from Century as the inbounds play. The miss there, the rebound by Braden Davis gets it to Simmon. Thought about the three, steps inside the line, hits the baseline J.
And he's been very quiet offensively, Pat, the last few weeks to a month, so it was really good to see him get more involved on the offensive side of things tonight.
Well, you're going to see it here again because I think Simmons going to go ahead and take it himself and score. So again, like we mentioned, getting another offensive player besides Nate Brown is key for Century, key for both these teams. When you're talking about Gavin Spees and company, and speaking of Spees, you're going to see him here. He's going to miss the three. Sean Case gets the board, gets it back to Spees. Spees decides to get in closer to the hoop. That's pretty stuff right there from Gavin Spees.
And he only had 1 point on Wednesday, Pat, in that loss to Manchester Valley, so he was really needing to get back into a rhythm for the Lions.
Shot clock is winding down. You see the referee pointing. That means we're under 10 to shoot. Nate Brown says, I'll take it, and I'll make it right in front of the bench. Student section fired up across the way, and Nate Brown got going in the fourth quarter here. So 48-42 here. How about this stop and pop off the glass? Little bank shot.
After hours.
After hours. 8-point lead. Now a lot of time left. Here's Liberty trying to get it inbounds. Down 51-44. Almost get the 5-second on Ryan Clapper. He does get it to Gattal, but overcommit on defense. Gattal, nifty move in there to score. Noah Gattal's been playing really well for them late in the season.
28 on Wednesday against Manchester Valley. Despite the loss, just a sophomore too, he's going to ball in the future.
I think so. This looked like Century had sealed it up. Gavin had one three. George Wonders fired up. 56-48 with a minute 20. Century's trying to inbound here, up 6. Can't quite see it, but it's a steal. Gattal steps behind the line, cans the three-pointer. So now it's a three-point game. Now watch as this develops here. Century's trying to get it in. Pressure, another steal. They get it to Gattal. He gets fouled going down. So now suddenly 2 free throws, making a 1-point game with a minute to go.
And this
Crazy
is that
sequence.
Yeah, this is that back and forth we saw the last time they met up about 2.5 weeks ago.
Now this down the stretch, 20 seconds. Spees gets the shooter's touch. Century's got a chance. Nate Brown gets it across midcourt. Sees an opening for a second. Goes in with the left hand, reverse, and he can't get it to go. He had it down the lane. One last second, Brady Bergen maybe forgets how much time's left. His three is off the mark. We're going to overtime.
Man, really thought that Brown had a chance there. We thought in real time maybe if he didn't do that little extra move to the right, it would have had a better chance of going in.
Early overtime, Brown missed. Bergen spins in the lane and scores. Liberty has the lead. Carter Simmons actually answered though with a three that made it 60-59. So here we are tied. Minute 15 to go. Check out Spies from way downtown and the bank open again.
That's ridiculous.
That's a 3-point lead, minute 5 left. Now check this out, 1-point lead, under 50 to go. Liberty has the ball. Keep an eye on Nate McLaughlin over there, number 5 for Century, right there. Whoop. Picks the pocket and scores. Gives Century the lead, 64-63. George Wonder is trying to call a timeout from the other side of the court. Here we go, 12 seconds left, down 3. You're gonna need a 3 to tie it. Gavin Spies looking for room to shoot. Good defense, almost got it, pulls up, steps back rather, misses. He wanted the foul, we didn't think it was one. Time runs out on Century. They did get one more crack at it with this the second and a half left, but it wasn't meant to be. Century wins the game 66-63 behind 21 points from Nathan Brown, 14 from Gavin Hadwin, and 12, like we said, from Carter Simmons. We'll talk about this game for a moment. Liberty ends the season on a 6-game losing streak. We had that game for Game of the Week a little while ago. Yeah. Liberty won by 2. They didn't win again the rest of the year. Noah Gattal had 26 tonight. Gavin Spies had 19. That was Liberty Century at its finest.
Yeah, that last game was the 11th of February. So it's been, 16 days since Liberty's last win, and they're not going to have another chance until December to get that next win. A really rough way for Liberty to end their season. They had such a tumultuous year, of course, with everything that happened with Coach Sinnott. And his battle with health at the beginning. Very glad that he's, on the mend at this point. But that was a team that was flying high. They had a really good start to county play. They were in contention to win the county in the early going, but then things just kind of unraveled. Gavin Spies was dealing with a little bit of an injury.
Inconsistent scoring.
Right, that he wasn't doing everything like he was doing at the beginning of the year. Luckily, Gattal and some of those other guys, Brady Bergen, Carter Weddle, Sean Case, to name a few, really stepped up. But ultimately, Century has been on a heater as of late. Yeah. They were really motivated by that loss to Liberty that we mentioned earlier. They beat Manchester Valley to win the county. They had some really good games out of county down the stretch.
And that tough stretch, too. A lot of games in a short amount of time. Yeah,
and ultimately they're headed on to the next round on Monday.
Yeah, we'll take a look a little bit later at who they play next. We're going to keep with boys basketball and head over to the 1A side.
Yeah, FSK and South Carroll in the 1A West. Of course, it's always great when you get these county matchups in the regional quarterfinals because these two teams know each other. They've played each other recently twice. FSK got South Carroll both times in the regular season. South Carroll didn't win a county game all season long, but let's see how this one played out over there in Uniontown. And this was really interesting for me to start, Pat, because when we had the game on Tuesday for Game of the Week, South Carroll was lethal shooting the basketball. Yeah. Well, it's no different to start this game. And, of course, it's number 1 in black, Cam Karlowski. This is a 10-0 run to begin the game for South Carroll. They were just coming out guns a-blazing. And what do you know? They get it to Karlowski on that left side again. And he does it again. A 13-0 run to start the game for South Carroll.
Yeah, they're wearing the right jerseys tonight. They actually got the right jerseys.
Absolutely. FSK getting back into it. Final minute of that first quarter. Landon Horton with a 2 to make it 15-8. But here's some chaos to end the first quarter. Mike Mooney's got it, gets it back to Carson Burke. His 3 is short. The ball's loose. Are they going to get it off? They do. Mike Mooney on the right side of the court, right there on the baseline, gets the buzzer beater layup, 17-8 after 1. Into the second quarter now, what do you know? Karlowski again up to Burke. He's got the speed advantage, and he's got the pair for SC. They continued in that first half to lead by double digits, down to a 9-point lead right here. But what do you know? Karlowski making things happen. Burke left wide open, and he sinks it. Yeah, SC's 3-point shooting has been phenomenal.
Lethal, and even when they lost to Winners Mill the other night, they were shooting the ball well from 3. They're flying down the court in this game, Nathan. They're the faster team in this one.
Cooper Little getting 2 back there for FSK. They were trailing in this one, Pat, from the get-go. We mentioned the 13-0 deficit to start. They were always playing from behind, but this is really the closest it got on this and one right here. And that made it a 1-possession game. That was the closest it would get as SC really dominated the rest of the way. But here's an Elijah Dawson, 2 from the mid-range. Again, middle of the third quarter here, they're kind of floating back and forth. But South Carroll at this point really goes into full gear.
Yeah, I'm going to guess you're going to see some fireworks here from Mr. Karlowski, and we do. He is the catalyst for this team. There's no doubt about it. It's fun to see him when they're doing their thing. It's fun to see him control the court.
Yeah, the and one. And what do you know? He adds another 3 right there. Cam Karlowski, he had 23 the other night in that regular season finale at Winter's Mill. But FSK continuing to shoot their way into this game as well. Now down to 6 points with Cousins making that one. But in the fourth quarter, it's all SC. Here's Burke, back out to Mooney. And look at where he takes this shot from. Are you kidding me? That's from the logo.
Yeah.
Carson Burke with the deep 3 to make it a double-digit lead again. More chaos here as Elijah Dawson gets one back for FSK. They're still fighting, but the writing was kind of on the wall from that first few minutes, Pat, with that 13-0 run, the early Karlowski 3s, and he's going to be the one to put up the stamp on this one for South Carroll. He attacks the lane, goes off the glass, up to an 18-point lead with just over 2 minutes to go, and that's going to do it. The South Carroll Cavaliers, who didn't win a county game all season long, beat county rival FSK to move on to the regional semifinals.
Did it by 20. We'll talk about this game now. So we watched the other night South Carroll go to Winter's Mill, and it was senior night, and Winter's Mill had all that energy on senior night and almost ended the game in the first quarter. Of course, there was a lot of time left, but they sucked the life out of that game against South Carroll. South Carroll goes to Key tonight and has no business maybe doing something like that, and then again they do it to Key. Key seemed to be shell-shocked from that body blow, and they never recovered. So hats off to Coach Jim Carnes and South Carroll for not going into this one with we only won 4 games, we're winning this in the county, we're not going to win this game. It didn't look like that tonight.
I was talking with some of our crew, our behind-the-scenes crew, ahead of the show going live tonight, and we were just talking about this game specifically and talking about how it's really hard to beat a team 3 times. FSK and South Carroll have played 3 times in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so they've got a lot of tape on each other. The last matchup was at Beer Gymnasium as well, so they had that in the back of their minds as well. South Carroll did, wanting to get that revenge from the 2 losses in the regular season, and what do you know? They beat them by 20 points. FSK does lose their last 3 to end the season. Tough way to go out for them, but how about South Carroll? Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Brian Chesley did a really good job getting Key more competitive this end of the season, his first season as coach. Jim Carr's has been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for a lot longer than
years.
You and I have been around for doing this, that's for sure. He knows how to win a game like this. If he can just get the kids to buy in, they bought in tonight. So congratulations to South Carroll.
Absolutely.
Let's shift over to girls basketball, though, but we're going to actually stay on the Francis Scott Key side. Class 1A West Region 2. You had 2 county games going on tonight. Boonesboro at FSK and Brunswick at South Carroll. Hasn't been a great year for FSK girls, but they did get a county win to end the regular season. Let's see what they had in store for Boonesboro tonight and see if they can put a positive note on the start of their regional playoffs. So Boonesboro at a Key for the 1A West Region quarterfinals. And Nathan, you and I can go through this one together. I'll start it off by just saying that Coach Mitch Walther and the team last year win the state title. They graduate all the seniors. We've talked about this for a little while. This was a good start here, and Izzy Campbell was a name that we saw at the end of the season make a little name for herself. Well, she is the star for this team this year, and it's a 6-0 run for South Carroll, or excuse me, for Francis Scott Key. Boonesboro does get it back, though. Actually take a lead here, still in the first quarter. So Boonesboro, which only scored single digits early in the year against South Carroll in a game, came to play tonight against Francis Scott Key.
They sure did. Early it was really back and forth. You never really knew. And, you mentioned Izzy Campbell doing a lot to make things happen. She does it again right here. Goes with the left hand, left side of the lane.
She's a playmaker.
Yeah, just doing everything she can. When I did that game last week up there in Uniontown, she balled. Had over 20 points, was ridiculous from 3. And, of course, she does it again right here. I mean, it's just, she is what makes that train go for FSK. And for a team that has struggled throughout the season, they've built some momentum here at the end, but again, here comes Boonesboro with some momentum.
Yeah, Abby Stevens, little misfire on that 3, and the Warriors come down and take advantage. So they're only down by 5 here early in the second quarter. But Key, every time Boonesboro would get a little close, Key would sort of come back, and there you go. Pass it around. Izzy Campbell, she's feeling it tonight. That's a nice stroke from Campbell.
Yeah, you can't leave her that wide open. I think Boonesboro realized that as the game went on, but also just these different passing lanes. Get Lily LaPierre involved.
It's a nice pass from the side by Eliza Miller, I believe.
For sure. And one thing about this FSK team in particular, they did lose Ava Hofleck earlier in the season due to injury.
Yeah.
A lot of different players had to step up, including Campbell, who adds 2 more right there. But the depth of this team was really tested as well. Of course, we all know what happened last year. They win the state title. They lose all 5 of the starters. People are going to have to step up regardless. And then you add an injury to a veteran like that, but you see Ariana Selman and Campbell and Eliza Miller and
LaPierre tonight, yeah.
Cheyenne Sinnott, just a freshman, getting a lot of minutes as well. So many different players for FSK making impacts. Macy Miller with a great pass inside there to Stevens to get 2 more. This FSK team just has really started to play its best basketball at the perfect time.
So Key was only up by 6 at the half. Boonesboro did hang around in the third quarter. It became a little too much Key in the fourth quarter. You see Mitch Walther call a timeout there to set things up. So here it is. Late in the fourth quarter, 2-possession game. Boonesboro lacks a little bit. Selman off the glass. I think they got it up to as many as 10. Boonesboro is going to come down here and make it a 4-point game with this 3-pointer basically as time runs out. But doesn't matter. You see Mitch bouncing around. Time runs out. FSK wins at 50-46. 2 wins in the last couple games for Keene. I know they stumbled the following night or the following game after Winters Mill and didn't fail to score 20 points. But they got that win against Winters Mill as a county win where maybe nobody thought they'd get that win except maybe the girls on the bench with Key and the starters for Coach Walther. It's a nice positive way to sort of end the season. Now, the next game's going to be tough. I think they go to top-seeded and undefeated Smithsburg. But don't worry about that right now. Celebrate the win tonight and realize that, like you mentioned, Nathan, this young core can remember a game like this and serve them well in 26-27.
Yeah, just one game at a time, right? And I think that last game that you mentioned against Winters Mill, a team that they have a lot of scoring prowess, Hananeski, and a team that got a bye and didn't have to play tonight in Winters Mill as well. So they really bottled down the Winters Mill offense, and the defense was great for FSK the other night up at home. You're right. They didn't bounce back well after that in the regular season finale, that out-of-county game to end the year. Then you have a couple days off, really a week off, to practice, get your mind right, get the body right, and to come out and have that early success tonight. That's a tight game back and forth. We made it seem a little bit, it was more comfortable than it was, but it turned into really just floating around 3 possessions, and Boonesboro makes a bucket here and there to keep it close, but FSK just continued to find that shot, whether it's Campbell or one of those other contributors, to making sure that lead never got too close.
You take any win you can get at this time of year. Of course, what do the coaches say? We don't apologize for wins. You win by 40 or by 4. But it could serve Key well, too, to get a win that they had to sweat out a little bit. They had to sweat out the win against Winters Mill, too. Then they lost to Williamsport, I think it was, and it was lopsided. So bouncing back from that in a week, it was February 20th. They didn't play again until tonight, which is February 27th. The bottom line, Key gets the win. Congratulations to the Eagles. They're moving on. We're going to go back to the 1A West Region 2. And like I mentioned a minute ago, we had 2 girls' games going on in that region, and South Carroll was the other one. The Cavaliers were hosting Brunswick. The winner gets to advance. You're right, I'm sorry. The winner for that one goes to play Catoctin. So Key does get Smithsburg in the next round. So South Carroll, Brunswick, the Cavaliers, another team that sort of dealt with some injuries, took some lumps, lost lopsided to Westminster the other night in the last county game of the year. But they had come into this one winning 5 of their last 6 games. So how would the Cavaliers fare against the Railroaders of Brunswick at home tonight in Winfield?
Yeah, South Carroll's got a lot of great athletes, Pat, a lot of 2-sport, 3-sport players on this team. I think that only helps them in the long run, but it's Brunswick getting things started with a 3 here for Emmy Miller, just a sophomore on the Railroaders side. 35 seconds in their first possession, putting a stamp on that one, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be the only Brunswick highlight we show in this one. Campbell Black, a great pass inside, down low to Caden Curtin right there. You're going to see a lot of Caden Curtin in this montage as well, including right here. 6'4" South Carroll, about halfway through the opening quarter. Right wing, pure.
That's good court vision, too, because she had her hand up. The ball handler had options, but knew Curtin was there, and there she is again. Oh, this is Harley McKee taking it in. That's not too bad either when you got Harley McKee down there. She's found her form late in the season.
For sure.
Yeah.
Missed the first couple games due to injury, coming back from that knee from last year. Curtin again dealing with, that brace on her right knee as well. South Carroll, not so much injuries in season, but out of season injuries coming back to maybe plague them in some spots this year. That's Macy Bell for 3, and you can see South Carroll starting to run away with it in the middle of the second quarter there. They're up by double digits for a majority of that second quarter into the third quarter here. And we really haven't seen Gabby Evans much up to this point. She had that steal in the first half, which led to the curtain score. She does it herself right there. And this is what a lot of this game was, Pat. There was a lot of turnovers on the Brunswick side that led to South Carroll points, including right there, McKee, the and one.
Yep.
South Carroll just found ways to capitalize on a lot of those mistakes by the Railroaders tonight.
That big lead in the first half set the tone. And South Carroll, maybe they didn't play 100% intensity every possession. There's a steal there. Can lead to a fast break layup. And that's the story of this game, Nathan, the way that they were able to build that early lead and then hold on to it the rest of the way.
For sure. And a lot of contributions down the stretch here. You're going to see Rowan Miller to Elise Eulead right there. Another easy bucket.
Weaving right through their defense, too. Railroaders really not getting back on defense. So, you're up by 26 here halfway through the fourth quarter. Just hope nobody gets hurt. Finish the game out strong and try to survive and advance, right?
And here's another nice play by McKee. Whoop, shot fake. Dips inside.
Take it herself.
Takes it herself. Making her way through that defense for Brunswick. Here's one last exclamation point for South Carroll. Riley Walks going to bank in a 3 from the top of the key.
Why not?
Why not, right? Get up to a 30-point victory as South Carroll takes this regional quarterfinal 55-25. So both Carroll County teams in this 1A West region picking up wins. Who knows? Maybe they could see each other in the regional final if everything goes their way on Tuesday night.
Ball would have to bounce their way a couple times in both those games, but yes, and South Carroll assures itself of a non-losing season to get to 11-10 with that win. So, you mentioned Harley McKee. She's one of the top scorers in the county, one of the top very good athlete as well. She lost almost all of last year with a knee injury. Even this year, she was ready to go. It took her some time to get her form back. She started early, maybe mid-December into January. We didn't really see her name in the box scores. Then it started to pop up. 29 points on the 13th against Mountain Ridge. 14 against Walkersville in a win. 17 against Middletown in a win. 16 against Winters Mill in a win. We saw her tonight in a win against Brunswick. So halfway through the season, South Carroll got their leading scorer back, and that served them well down the stretch. They got hot until that loss to Westminster. They had won, I think, 5 straight. So 6 of the last 7 for the Cavaliers, and they're moving on.
Yeah, they'll play Catoctin in the regional semifinals. We mentioned FSK going to Smithsburg. So 2 trips, some long trips for both of those teams, but we'll see what happens on Tuesday.
Trips they've made before, too. So, and again, they're definitely the underdogs in both cases. Key more so just because Smithsburg's having such a whale of a season. South Carroll Catoctin have played before in this round in the regional finals as well, so they've got some recent history. So, good luck to both the Carroll County teams as they go on. We have one more basketball game before it's still girls basketball. We'll switch regions though and head over to Class 3A West, Region 1, where Westminster was home tonight. What could be the Owls' final home game. They host North Hagerstown Hubs. They're the 4 seed. Coming in hot as well, 9-2 record over the last 11 games heading into this regional quarterfinal. Had some success in the last couple years in this round. Could the Owls do it again? We're about to find out. The Hubs and the Owls from Westminster High School. And we were keeping tabs on this one, Nathan, as well. Game started a little bit late. The Hubs got caught in some traffic on the way from Hagerstown to Westminster. The Owls ready to go, though, and you're going to see Xavier Burgie get her hands on the ball. And a nifty move to get into the paint and use the left hand. That was a nice move there by Burgie. The sophomore knows how to score.
Yeah, for sure. Really is taking that next step. Was asked a lot of this year as just a sophomore to be a main contributor. But you never know who's going to score for this Westminster team.
It's balanced. Hubs forget Riley Bunting sitting there for the 3. Her neon green shoes didn't give her away. And you're going to see another 3-pointer coming up here for Westminster. Just the Hubs were a little bit behind on the defense. That's Brinley Bogue in the red shoes. So that's how we can pick them out, the red shoes and the green shoes, because those Westminster uniforms are a little tricky sometimes. But the Owls, again, just like the last game we saw with South Carroll, Westminster building a big lead. Good ball movement. There's Brinley Bogue again, and she'll hit the 3 in front of North Hagerstown's bench. So it's a 19-6 lead early in the second quarter. Emma Jones is going to get, Emma Jones gets in there after that nice pass from Bogue to give Bogue an assist. Emma Jones, the senior guard, scores inside. So it was just a lot of this, a lot of, like you mentioned in the last game, maybe a missed shot or a turnover, no second chances for North High. Emma Jones fires the 3 off there. All Owls in this first half.
It was really just kind of points in bunches for Westminster, where Burgie did a couple shots in a row. Then Bow continues to add here.
Just again, like North isn't getting out on defense. Westminster take those shots, and they're hitting them tonight.
Yeah, and then Jones had that cluster there. Bow continues to do her thing right here. I want you to take a look at where she pulls up from here. I mean, when you're that confident.
And the half, young lady.
It's got to go in, right?
Just outside the Westminster W logo. The fans like it, and it was a big lead halftime, 33-14. So it continues here into the third quarter. Not much scoring yet, but here's Cole Peach. She'll fire up from in front of the bench. The students love it.
41 I think that's the boys team there on the far side.
Might be.
They had the night off tonight.
Well, they probably had practice right after this. But it was just all Westminster. They built the lead up. They didn't let it go. Bunting's going to miss this shot, but look at Layla Graham. Jane on the spot, not Johnny on the spot. Jane on the spot. Layla Graham, the freshman who got called up early in the season, and made her mark here and there in spots. This is late in the game. It's already well in hand. Riley said, I missed that last time. Let me make this one for my side. So all Westminster in this game. 57-38 is your final score. Brinley Bogue led the way in scoring. Again, it was balanced. Bogue had, I think, 14. Bunting had 11. Westminster wins by 19 points and gets the job done. The Owls improved to, sorry, I had it right in front of me here. The Owls improved to 16-7. They win their third straight. And that's 10-2 now over the last 12 games. So they didn't win the county this year. Man Valley beat them both. Both games were competitive, but they were low scoring. We'll talk about Man Valley again in just a moment because they play next week. Coach Dave Urban, the next best team has been Westminster. If they haven't won the county, they've been second place. They could make things tough for the opposing team in the next couple games if they can keep playing the way they played tonight. Yeah,
I think the interesting thing is you mentioned that they've won their last 3 games. Their last loss was at Linganore, 50-44. Well, guess what? Where are they playing on Tuesday? At Linganore.
That's a spoiler alert, but we are going to show you, yeah. And Linganore is the top seed in the region, so the confidence level should be higher. They didn't get blown out when they played the Lancers the first time. A 6-point game is a 2-possession game. So, the Owls are playing well. I talk about this all the time on my podcast. I talk about this with Nathan on Game of the Week. He knows this too. When you want to be playing your best? At the end of the season, you go into the playoffs, and that's what we wanted to show you guys tonight with our playoff highlights show. So before we sign up and wrap things up, we wanted to show the updated brackets. Before we do that, though, just a reminder that spring season is starting soon. So we want to get the word out that CMSportsNet.com is the place where you can go to catch all the action and also to sign up and be a subscriber. You can subscribe for the month. You can subscribe for the rest of the year. You can check out the details on CMSportsNet.com. That's the only place you're going to get full live coverage of all the spring lacrosse, boys lacrosse and girls lacrosse. Every game in the stadium, we're going to bring it to you live on CMSportsNet.com. So I got that out of the way. Now the regional updated brackets. We saw the South Carroll game. So South Carroll wins. They will play Brunswick. It's going to be the 1 seed, so Coach Carnes takes the Cavs on the road. Didn't get a result yet from Boonesboro, Kentucky, but whoever won that game will go to Smithsburg. So Jim Carnes and the Cavaliers a few years back played Smithsburg in a regional final not too long ago, so one more win would get a rematch of that game. Smithsburg did win that game. The Cavaliers had a huge lead. I went out and covered that one for us at CM Sportsnet and just ran out of gas in the second half. Smithsburg won the game and won the region, but the Cavaliers will get a crack at it next Monday when they play Brunswick.
With the shooting, with the way they've been doing it as of late, anything can happen.
Absolutely. Our next one, 2A West Region 1. That was the thriller of the night. Century 66-63 over the Lions of Liberty. The rematch, if you will, the third rematch. The third match goes to the Knights. Now again, they go on the road and play Poolesville. Middletown handled Walkersville, didn't put the score up, but they won by almost 50 points tonight over Walkersville. So Middletown goes to Williamsport for that semifinal, and Century has a chance to knock the 1 seed off with George Wonder's boys would then either go to Williamsport or go to Middletown. So Road Warriors rest of the way for the Knights if they want to win the regional title.
And they've had experience doing that this year. They've had a lot of quality road wins, especially in the county. So we'll see what happens.
2A North Region 1. Now I wanted to show you this bracket because these are the 2 teams that didn't play. We already have a tasty one set up Monday. Man Valley at Winners Mill. Manchester Valley going on the road to play Dave Wynn's Falcons, are one of the hottest teams around. We saw them the other night take care of South Carroll. The Lansdowne Randallstown game was tonight, just didn't get a score, but whoever wins that one goes to Hereford. But really looking forward to that game Monday night at 6 p.m. From the Falcons' Nest when Big Mill hosts the Mavericks.
Yeah, I'd love to stick and talk about this game for a couple minutes because this is really intriguing, Pat. You talked about it, Winners Mill, the hottest team out of all the Carroll County teams right now. Man Valley, though, they were the opposite. They had lost 4 in a row, but then they get a huge overtime win at Linganore last week. They beat Liberty in that rescheduled game from Monday, got pushed to Wednesday. They beat them by 12 points. and now they're both starting to play really well. Colton Enderle, a top candidate for Player of the Year in the county, against a very balanced Winters Mill team where they don't really have one player that's consistently taking over each game, but you have Steckel, Krebs, Coleman, so many different contributors, and as we learned on Tuesday, they are very deep. You could put anybody in at any point for the Falcons, and it feels like they're going to have a good lineup.
It's going to be a great game, and before we sign off tonight, we'll let you know how that's going to go out too in terms of CMSportsNet.com. There's the 3A West one. Westminster has the bye. Now, you had some breaking news for us, that quarterfinal game, 3-6.
51-39, Frederick takes care of Linganore, so Westminster will host Frederick on Monday night.
On Monday night, and Oakdale is the top seed, and they wait the winner of North High and Tuscarora. So again, we'll have a little more news for you on that Westminster game and how you can catch it on Monday, March 2nd. Hard to say, it's weird to say that we're into March.
I know.
Here's the girls, but I know the girls' side. We'll run through these. 1A West Region 2, Key going to Smithsburg, South Carroll going to Catoctin after Key won 50. What was the final score of Key Boonesboro? They won by 6, 50-46.
Yeah.
Or won by 4. Trying to remember. It's a
3 at the end.
It's a quiz. They threw me off.
Yeah,
but we know South Carroll rolled Brunswick. So again, like we talked about it already, South Carroll Catoctin going to be tough task for each team, but they made it that far, and that's why they play the game. So let's see what happens with those girls in the semifinals. We'll move on to the
real quick. South Carroll lost to Catoctin earlier this year. FSK lost to Smithsburg earlier this year. So 2 rematches there.
Okay, fair enough. 2A North, that's the same one again. We didn't have any games in this one tonight, but we already know that Man Valley's home against the winner of Randallstown. Lansdowne, same matchup on the boys' side. And then Winters Mill's home. The Falcons will host the Bulls of Hereford, the county champions, who finished 12-0. We'll have the home game. And then if those two were to win, we get a county rematch in the finals. Winters Mill would go to Man Valley later in the next week, and that would be fun to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, Taylor Feek and Bauer and what they can do on the Man Valley side, very dominant. Coach DeWeese is very animated, and but it's a style that works. It's a team that's very well coached,
absolutely,
very well oiled machine, and they're going to be tough to beat.
Absolutely, we'll see. But first up, either Lansdowne or Randallstown. There's the 2A side now. Century was on the road tonight against Middletown. We don't have that one for you. Liberty plays tomorrow afternoon at home against Walkersville. If Liberty wins, they go to Poolsville. If Century knocks off Middletown, they get to go to the top seed, Williamsport. So Century Liberty final would take some time and some upsets to happen, but the Lions have been playing pretty well, pretty competitive late. Century's had a little bit of a down season in their first year under Matt Gitterman, but just looking forward to see what Liberty can do tomorrow against Walkersville.
You mentioned the up and down for Liberty. They took Manchester Valley down to the wire the other night. So anything is possible. You mentioned, could we see Liberty Century? I think we absolutely could. There's a chance.
Yeah, and they were I think Liberty had a 5-point lead in that game. Down into the second half, but Man Valley pulled away. And then the game we just gave you the highlights from, Westminster rolls North Hagerstown. They do go to Linganore. Nathan mentioned it. They lost to Linganore not too long ago, but only by 6. Linganore is really good. Only allows 1 or 2 losses all year. So they earned the 1 seed, and then on the bottom of that bracket is either Oakdale or Tuscarora going to Frederick. So some tough Frederick County foes ahead if Westminster wants to try to capture a regional title. Time will tell. Those games, those semifinals on the girls' side will be Tuesday, March 3rd. The boys play on Monday, March 2nd. Whew, I'm gonna catch my breath. That was a lot there, but that was fun. I want to remind everyone, though, we talked about just a second ago, boys basketball regional semifinals. We got them for you Monday night. CMSportsNet has plans to bring you live coverage of the 2 games taking place in Carroll County. Westminster's home taking on Frederick, and then the county clash, Winters Mill and Man Valley. The Falcons hosting the Mavericks. Each game tips off at 6. We're looking forward to giving you both those games as the Carroll County teams try to keep their postseason runs going. It'll be fun on Monday night.
No doubt.
Be sure to catch all of our high school sports content online on our website, CMSportsNet.com. You can watch us on cable channels 18 and HD 1072, and be sure to follow us on Instagram at CMSportsNet Action. Don't forget to subscribe to CM SportsNet Plus as well. That's where you can get the spring season. And again, Monday, 6 p.m., we'll have live coverage of the Westminster home game and the Man Valley Winters Mill game. For Nathan Schwartz, I'm Pat Stoetzer saying thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
First Class Mechanical is the only name you need to know when it comes to this time of year. Whether it's heat pumps, water heaters, bursting pipes, and gas fireplaces.
First Class Mechanical.